Hi everyone, this is Matt here, and I want to give you an update today on our Luna display for Windows Kickstarter and the latest progress we've made on it and where we're overall at with the project. So I want to start with the hardware. And as you may know, Luna display for Windows, there are two different models that are going to be available. There is the USB-C version, and there's also the HDMI version. And the USB-C version builds off of what we've already done for the Mac. For the Mac, we do have a USB-C version today, but the HDMI version is totally new to us. That's a new hardware design that we've had to put together for Luna Display. Now, the hardware designs themselves are in really good shape. We've completed the hardware designs. Our factory has done test manufacturing. We have over 100 HDMI test units that we've put together, and the USB-C ones we already had existing units available that we've been able to use. So the hardware is in excellent shape and the hardware designs are finalized. The software is also in really good shape. Our software platform is out in a beta test on Windows. We call it Project Blue, and if you want to head over to astropad.com/Project Blue, you can check that out. It uses some of the same technology that's going to be available in Luna, and that's been important for us to be able to get that out there as a test vehicle. We feel really good about it. We've made a lot of progress, and we've been doing a lot of bug fixing lately. And having it out there as a beta, the core software as a beta, that's going to enable Luna to transmit wirelessly over Wi-Fi or over USB is what that software is for. And so we feel really good about that. And there's also the firmware. The firmware is kind of another name for software, and it's what sits on the units themselves. And the firmware for both of them is feature complete. And we've been doing a good amount of testing. So now that we have the software platform, the hardware to test, we've been sending out a lot of test units. We have over 100 USB-C test units out in the wild, and we have 50 HDMI test units that are out there. On top of that, we've also secured components for manufacturing. You may have seen in the news that there's a major chip shortage going on that's affecting manufacturing of all sorts of different products. Thankfully, that does not apply to us because we ordered our components so far ahead of time. We actually ordered around the time of the Kickstarter. We put in a very large order for components, and so we have those on hand, and so that is in good shape there. So despite all that good news, I do have some bad news to share. And that's that with HDMI, we do need more time to put it together and get the experience we want and to get it shipped to you. So originally, we were hoping to have everything shipped May of this year, May of 2021, both USB-C and HDMI. And while we still feel really good about USB-C and we're going to ship USB-C in May, HDMI is just not going to be ready yet. As we've expanded our test pool, we've gotten it to more and more PCs out there, we've found compatibility issues. And I'm confident we're going to be able to fix these because we had a similar situation on the Mac a couple of years ago when we first did Luna Display for the Mac. We found a number of compatibility issues and we had to delay there. And we were ultimately able to fix those compatibility issues and get a reliable experience. So I'm confident we're going to be able to fix this because we've been here, we've done this before, but it was still really a very hard decision for us to delay. We're terribly sorry about it, and we want to get these into your hands as quickly as possible. But as of today, we just don't feel that HDMI is ready yet to ship. It would be terrible for us to ship an HDMI out, you plug it into your computer, and for some reason it just doesn't work. I mean, that would just be an awful feeling, and we don't want that to happen. So that's why we're doing such extensive compatibility testing, and that's why we're choosing to delay and do further testing. So you may be thinking, why now? Why didn't you tell us sooner? Well, the truth of the matter is we didn't really know until very recently that this was going to be the case. We were really optimistic that we were going to be able to make the May timeframe for HDMI, but it was only as we further expanded our beta pool it became clear that, in fact, we did have a lot more compatibility fixes to do. We don't expect any of this to interfere with the hardware design. These are all firmware-related things that we need to fix. So why the delay as well, right? So we've got the compatibility issues, like I've mentioned, but there's a couple more things too. HDMI is a new connection type to us. We have previous experience with USB-C, and so that's been really helpful and allowed us to go faster on the PC. The other thing is, even once we fix the compatibility issues, we need the final firmware before we can have the factory start to make the HDMI units. Because of the nature of HDMI, the HDMI firmware is quite slow to update. And so it wouldn't be reasonable for us to ship those HDMI units and then expect everybody to update the firmware on their own, because it's too slow of a process. If we do need to do it in the wild, we can, but we very, very, very much prefer not to have to do that and have the firmware that's shipped to you on the device ready to go and not need any updates. That's different with USB-C because of the nature of USB-C. We are able to update the firmware very, very quickly and very easily. This is a particular problem with HDMI, that it can be a 20 to 30 minute process to update it. And so because of that, we really need the final firmware on the device before we can ship it to you. So that means we need to test and fix all these compatibility issues before the factory can finish these units and put the firmware on it. But even once we're done with that, that doesn't mean that the factory, the next week, the factory is able to produce them. We use a shared factory that's used to manufacture many different products. And so even once we've finished the HDMI firmware, we need to wait for a window, an open window in which we can get the manufacturing floor to be able to manufacture. And then on top of that, those things need to be shipped from China to our distribution facility in Atlanta. And all these things take time. So that's why we're asking for your patience with us as we work out these kinks with HDMI compatibility. And we need that extra time to fix the issues we have. On top of it, we also had to hire a new firmware engineer. The firmware engineer we had, unfortunately, things didn't work out. And we've brought a new, very capable firmware engineer onto the team that's also going to be helping us tackle some of these issues. But that's another thing that was unexpected in our original timeline, is also requiring us right now to need more time to finish HDMI. So we're determined to complete this Kickstarter as quickly as we can. And we're really sorry we're not going to be able to get the HDMI units out in May as we originally expected. For those of you with USB-C orders, they will be shipping in May, and that will go ahead as originally planned. If you're somebody that would like to potentially switch your order from an HDMI to a USB-C, you can do that. And, worst case, if this doesn't seem like the right project for you anymore and, you're not able to wait for September, you can get a refund. You can contact us at support@astropad.com. We'd really hate to see you go. We'd love for you to stick with us, but we totally understand if that is the case. We are going to finish this, though. Windows is extremely, extremely important to our company. This is something we've been working on for over 2 years, and we are very dedicated to this. And this is where a lot of the future growth for us is going to come from as a company. So it's vital to us that we fulfill this Kickstarter. We get those Lunas in your hands and that you're really happy with them. So thanks for being patient with us. We've been here with challenges like this before, and as a team, we've always been able to overcome them. So not for a second do I doubt that we'll be able to fix it. And I know that once you get your hands on a final Luna, you're really going to like it. I've been using one of the test units here myself on my Windows PC. I've actually got an HDMI unit here myself, and it's been really fantastic. I've been helping test the software, and I'm just loving what I'm seeing. I'm loving the direction, and I think you're really, really going to love it once you get it, the final version in your hands. So that's a bit on the latest timeline for our Kickstarter and the latest for HDMI and USB-C. So if you have any questions or concerns, you can always reach me as well at matt@astropad.com. Otherwise, stay tuned for our next update on the Kickstarter. You take care now. Bye-bye.